So here's the updated version of our. So I figured Rickroll made more sense. I should do what?
You should make this face the clear.
Sure.
Beat on the background. It's like it's a subwoofer. All right. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's bring this a little bit back to reality. I need to finish a couple minutes early today, so I want to get this to the point where I can give you your homework assignment because everybody's looking forward to that, right?
No.
We're going to do it in a couple parts. So the first homework assignment is just going to be a partial piece.
All right.
All right. So let's first play this for the guys that just walked in. Yeah, new audio background, so I think this is an improvement. All right. So we want to go into our, I think we did this at this guy's level, right? Where we randomize the background color of our scene. Let's not do that now. So let's turn that off, that aspect of it, and let's run this again. What's up?
There are black ones.
Yeah, there are bullets you can't see.
Maybe we should make the screen
Invisible bullets.
Make the screen.
But I'm sure there'd be gray ones then.
Maybe we should make the background clear. All right. Well, so what we're going to do is we're going to take away the rainbow colors of all the other guys. I know. So we're going to go into our enemy ammo. So right now these guys are a random number. Let's go ahead and let's just set it to, we'll set it to a standard color. So let's do 1 on red, 1 on green, and we'll leave it at 0. Let's keep it down a little bit. Shouldn't they be a different color than that?
You put it in the ones that you shoot.
The who?
Well, that's enemy.
Why don't we just hard code the color on?
I guess that's a decent suggestion. So we'll go to color, and oh, we should have pink enemies, obviously. The Death Swarm. Actually, this would be like a fun, later level. They are easier to dodge with the little ship, but there's too many of them right now. So we need to go back to our enemy. It's our enemy that's spawning these guys. So let's go ahead and have them spawn one every 0.5 seconds initially. Making it rain. I think that's beatable. In fact, I'm just toning this actually, even though none of them collide, right? That missed me. Trust me. Okay. So now the idea is that we should be able to fire our ammo at these enemies and do damage to them. So we want each of these guys to have a number of hit points. Okay. So maybe we decide that each enemy has a life of 5. Okay, let's start with that. So we're gonna go into our enemy. We're gonna create a attribute, and we'll make it a integer, and we'll call this guy HP for hit points. We'll start off at 5, and every enemy is gonna have a behavior where it'll display its current hit points. So we'll display the text, enemies, hit points. And that will display as black. All right, so now they should all show their current hit points. All right, and what we want to do is we want to be able to fire on these guys and have them take damage. So that means we need to have our player's ammo be able to collide with our enemy. Okay? So inside of our enemy, we're going to throw a rule in here. This rule is going to say this particular instance of our enemy received, overlap, or collided with actor of type player ammo. If that occurs, what do we want to do? We want our hit points to go down by 1. So what do we have to do that?
Change it.
Change attribute. We're going to change our, this particular instance's, hit points to whatever it currently is. -1. Okay. We'll call this the take hit rule. Okay. Oh man, look at that. All right, so now these guys can take hits. Now, as soon as they get down to 0, we want it to get destroyed. We might start the hit points above 5, but whatever, you get the point here. Okay, so as soon as it gets down to 0, we want it to get destroyed. So we're going to throw another rule in here. If attribute hit points is equal to 0, actually, why don't we say less than or equal to 0, just in case there's a, just in case there's a race condition with the clock, like I hit it twice in a row or something like that, it actually goes to -1. We still want him to die. So if that's the case, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and destroy him. It won't look that impressive at first, but we'll make it look much more bestest. That's correct grammar, by the way. So I'll throw destroy out there. So now, whenever this guy goes down, he dies. Oh man, I just honed this level.
And you still managed to get clipped by people.
At the very end, because I stopped. Actually reminds me of this this video I saw. This video I saw yesterday, like a soccer goalie, and so somebody had a free kick on him. So somebody had a free kick on this guy, and so they kick, and the goalie blocked it, and then starts walking away. He's like, but the ball had all this spin on it and spun right back into the goal. As he's like completely walking off to the side, like he's awesome. It was pretty good.
Oops.
I know, seriously. It's still sending my. Let's let it keep sending. Okay. Now we'd probably like this guy to explode in some way. Correct?
Right.
But before we do that, because I want to be able to get us to the point where I can give you your homework assignment. We need to have the alternative to this. That is, we are firing, these guys are firing missiles up into the air. And I need to be able to get hit by one of those and die. Which means I can no longer hurt the enemies, right? So I need to go into my particular instance of my player. I need to do it at the instance of player because this is the guy that's playing the music and stuff like that. So our player here is kind of representing our concept of an observer. Remember we talked about observers a couple classes ago? So this is a guy that lives in the scene. Okay, he's no longer an actual instance of player. We only have one player in this. So this guy lives in the scene. He's aware of everything that's happening in the scene. So we're actually going to edit this specific instance. And we're going to say that this guy, here's his take hit. This particular actor receives an overlap or collides with an actor of type enemy ammo. Now, we don't have any lives. We don't have hit points. We immediately die. Okay? We have to be perfect. So if that happens, we'll destroy ourselves. which means we can't fight anymore. And actually, I also think the music stops. End of the road. Okay, because this guy's the one who's actually playing the music. What we should do is put the music into the enemies and have it on a random timer so the music starts at different points. So you'll actually have 3 different music streams playing at once. That's an advanced feature, so we won't do that yet. That comes in level 2. Oh, okay, so I'm dead.
The music kept going.
It did keep going. That's actually interesting. Well, yeah, it could be. Once it starts, it starts. I'm guessing there is no way to stop the music then.
If you change the scene.
Let me try something here.
The name of the game, Rick Roll's Revenge.
Let's play music. We can pause the music, but we don't want to do that. We want to... How do I play music? What's the name of it? Play music. So here, we'll switch over to another sound, and then we'll try to do it after being destroyed. Let's just see if it makes a difference.
Wait, how come your bullet you keep shooting, it won't like take away more lives?
What?
Yeah.
You mean if I do this? Make it awkward. Just sit there, just do that for like 5 minutes straight until the class just breaks. Did you figure out your problem?
Yes.
Okay.
What's shooting too fast?
I want to try something here real quick. I want to put the change music after the destroy. Stop trying to hit me and hit me. We're going to have to change our... Okay, still works. So music must run on its own... yeah, its own thing, so it doesn't... Which actually kind of makes sense. That way it wouldn't hurt the performance of the individual actors. But that tells us something about music. Okay, so we'll take that off. So this guy gets destroyed. Now, when he gets destroyed, we also want to have a game over screen, right? So, we're going to go ahead. We're going to create a new scene. Let's go back to scenes. So, we'll create a game over scene. Okay, and we decided that we need to have a Rickroll picture. As Safari's crashing. His name's Rick Astley?
Yeah.
All right, let's let Safari finish crashing while we do this screen. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new actor. And we're going to call this guy Game Over. Put him out here on the screen. And we'll make this guy display some text. Rick rolled in pink because that's that's what they were firing, pink missiles. So obviously let's just make sure this guy looks right. All right, there we go. So we'll go back to our other scene, the initial scene, and we'll put into our player. After he gets destroyed, we need to change scene to game over. Rick rolled. Night of the Roxbury, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. We should watch that like during the final exam.
I'm down.
Maybe we should even switch.
Night at the Roxbury? You've never seen Night at the
I know
Roxbury?
what it is. I haven't seen it though.
Who in here has not seen Night at the Roxbury?
Oh,
Oh
It
my.
probably came out though. Well, it came out way before they were born. They probably
No, they were born.
maybe.
When did it come
I have
out?
friends who've seen it. I just have not watched it.
Did you look it up? Came out in 2000.
No, I was just saying. I think it's late 90s, early 2000s.
Really? When was everybody here born?
92.
95.
94.
95. Well,
You were born 95? My God, I'm getting so old. Man, I was jumping things in my pickup truck in 95. All right. So, in any case, did Safari finish crashing yet?
It may have.
All right, got it. Rick Astley, like that. There he is. Oh, this is the one. Save image to downloads. We got that. Go back into game salad. Go to our game over scene. Let's go into images. We'll add. What was the name of the file?
Probably should have thought
Ye old sign.
about that.
Save image as. Oh, just unknown. Perfect. Here. Let's go to downloads. ra.png. That'll work. Fine, use JPEG. There he is. All right, perfect. All right, so now we want this guy to be able to fire at these and do damage to them, blah, 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 like he's currently doing. But we also want, when he finishes that, he should be able to go on to the next level. What does it mean to go on to the next level? Maybe these guys fire faster. Maybe they have more hit points.
Or both.
Well, I mean both, yeah. So maybe their hit points go from 5 to 3,000 at level 2. It's a very steep, it's an exponential difficulty growth. Okay, so what we need to do then is we need to have our scene, well actually let's do it at the game level. Our game needs to remember the current difficulty level. All right, so we're going to go to our game. We're going to keep our attributes. And let's create a new attribute. And this guy's going to be an integer. Okay, we're going to call this guy enemy HP. And we'll start this off at 5. And then let's say enemy spawn timer 0.5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on, I made this an integer. Kill it. Next. Make it a real. Enemy spawn timer. We started this off at 0.5. Okay. And then what we need to do is we go into our enemy. And when an enemy is born, its spawn timer, instead of hard coding it at 0.5, we need to set it to whatever our game's spawn timer is. Okay. Similarly, we need to have one change attribute at the very beginning. Remember, this is an action, so it only happened once. So we're going to change our enemy's hit points to be equal to our game's enemy hit point. Okay, let's see this in action. So it starts off at 5, and just to give you an idea here, if we go back into our game's attributes and we set this to 13, and we hit play, it rickrolls us immediately. That's just so stupid that it does that. Take me back to the initial scene. Now they're at 13. Okay? But we'll start it at 5 like we had before. Now, it's such a good picture. It's like perfect for this game. Rickrolled. Need to animate them. Like the talking mouths from like Conan. Okay, so we should go on to the next level as soon as we've killed off our final enemy. How do we do that? How do we remember how many enemies are have been killed? Okay, or decreases by 1 depending if you go to 3 or whatever. So why don't we have at the game's level an attribute of type integer num enemies, and we're going to say every one of our scenes starts off at 3 enemies. Okay, when an enemy dies, so we have this global variable. Here's where an enemy is destroyed. We're going to throw a rule in there. Well, before we even throw the rule in there, we're going to throw a change attribute. What attribute are we going to change? We're going to change the game's num enemies to whatever it currently is minus 1. So we'll subtract 1 from the number of current enemies. All right. Then we'll have a rule, is level over. And that's going to say if the attribute game num enemies is equal to 0. If all the enemies have been killed, we need to move to the next scene. But before we do that, what do we need to do? We need to reset all of our variables. Right? So we need to go num enemies starts back off at 3. Then we need to increment our spawn speed, and we need to increment our hit points. That's the next level. The guy should be more powerful, right? Mm-hmm. So first, we're going to change our attribute. Our games, num enemies, set that back to 3. Then we're going to change another attribute. Our games, enemy hit point, equal to our game's enemy hit point times 2. Let's keep doubling their hit points. And finally, Change attribute. Our games spawn time to whatever it currently is, minus 0.07. Make it a little quicker. Okay. Then, after we've reset those variables, we need to change scenes. What scene do we change to? So this is what's going to be interesting. Well, the enemies aren't going to come back on their own. We can spawn them again. But we're going to try to utilize the logic of the scene to just change to the scene. So we're going to change to initial scene. And we're hoping this creates a new instance of the initial scene with fresh new enemies, with new hit points, blah, 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 and the faster timer. Okay, maybe initial scene isn't the best way to call it, but well, that's good enough for right now. All right? So once we've killed off all enemies, we should get a brand new scene where the enemy's hit points are now 10 and the things are spawning a little bit quicker. I'm going to win this. Oh. Make it rain. Oh. No. Oh, man. I'm good. We got this. Oh. Oh, how did that miss me? This is kind of a good game. It's actually kind of good. It feels like a increasing difficulty. So then we just need to say what your current level is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to our game. Cur level. Throw this guy out on the screen. And I think we can still see him up there. Let me just make sure that's true. Boom! Let's make him not movable. Physics. Okay. And it's okay to put him there to be below. Okay. So now at the games level, we're going to create an attribute. Integer. Cur level. Start off at 1. Our cur level actor will always display some text. The text he'll display is level : game cur level. Okay. Oh, invalid expression. Do we need to do double quotes around this? There we go. All right. So now, when an enemy dies, the enemy needs to increase cur level by 1 before we move on to the next scene. Only if the level is over, right? So we'll change another attribute. Our games cur level is equal to our games per level +1. We should mess with them. Just increase it by like 2.2 and make it a real. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Just leave it on the screen. Man, it'd be so embarrassing to level 2 now. It's like Angry Birds when you like screw up on the
The first level.
yeah, you screw up on the very first pipe, you just ram right into it. You know, especially when the previous game like you got like 80. I'll just turbo that one down. Oh! All right.
So after you lose, then-
Switch to the other disco.
Yeah.
All right, that's our final change, and then I'm giving you your homework assignment. So before we change scene, we're gonna play music. Disco.
Do we only want to do that if?
This all happens only if we're changing scenes. So this is if the level's over. So
Yeah,
I
do we wanna
change.
do that when he's killed or when the level's over? Or when your character's killed, or do we want to do it when the level's over?
We want to keep the Rickroll thing going if he's dead. But if we're on the next. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. We want to do this on our.
You just took that.
Everybody relax. What did I take? Am I good?
You're good.
All right. Now we need to go to our player. It's when this guy dies.
Right.
Take hit. We'll change scene. We'll play music. All right.
All of a sudden you can't.
All right. So let's talk homework assignment. That's our current version of the game. What do we call this game? Rick Rolled Extreme.
Sure.
KK, thanks. Huh? Reverse, then reverse at the end of that. Okay.
Ritual's return. Or revenge. Ritual revenge.
I always thought it'd be funny. Maybe I said this in this class before. Like when I log into Angel in class, you know how sometimes you'll accidentally start putting your password in the wrong box. Like one purposely do that and just have like this incredibly inappropriate password or something like that. And it's like, oh, never mind. Just don't say anything. That would actually be something I would do. So I've kind of ruined the surprise at this point, I think. All right, so homework 7. Write your own version of our Rick rolled game. Your game needs to be in the spirit. Did I spell it right? Spirit
There you go.
of our game, but you may take some liberties. You should submit a few screenshots of your game which depict what it does, as well as explain how your game works differently than ours. Also, zip up the game and submit that so I can possibly demo it in class. How do you spell demoed? That's good enough. Demoed games may be awarded extra credit. That's a big nose, isn't it? Yeah, good enough. Don't forget the self-assessment. Make sense?
Do when? Monday?
Oh, yes, do Monday. Yeah, because Monday I'm going to give you another assignment. All right, make sense? All right, so I want you to have some fun with this. Take some liberties so that we have some fun games we can show in class. But if you're strapped for time this weekend, you can just duplicate what we've done, submit it, you get full credit.
All right.
All right? So feel free to manage your time as you deem fit.
Giving the artists liberty. By the way, I was going to